Hello everyone, my name is Lowko, and welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Can't believe I used to do that in every single cast. It's exhausting. Maybe I'm just getting old. I also don't think it's particularly great for my voice, but anyways. What I've got for you today is a top-level game of Terran vs Protoss, where in game number 1 in the top right-hand corner of the map, playing here with the blue Terran SCVs from France, representing Team Liquid, we have none other than Clem. His opponent, one of the very best Protoss players in the world, if not the very best. He won the GSL Code S earlier this year, he's from South Korea, and he goes by the name of herO. Alrighty, so a best-of-3 series between herO and Clem. This should be a lot of fun. In my mind, both of these players are, very evenly ranked, right? Even though they compete in different regions. So Clem obviously primarily in the European region, and he's facing off against guys like herO and herO and all that all of the time. But yeah, even though they may very well compete in different areas of the world, every once in a while they face off against one another, and it tends to be a lot of fun. This probe already being obnoxious. This is one of those things that we see herO do time and time again, and obviously it's very common at the highest level, but let's just follow the probe around in this early game, okay? There's not that much to look at anyways. I'm expecting a standard game. It's gonna be a 20 Cybercore, 20 Nexus on the low ground, I imagine. Alright, yeah, let's follow the probe around. Just so you can see how much of a nuisance these herO probes are in the early game. Look at them. So he's now denying the command center. Clem wants to build a command center on the low ground. But as long as there's an opposing unit, in that structure's range, you can't actually plant it down. And it's annoying because Clem actually needs that command center to not hit a supply block. Right now, the depot, also denied. Careful. Fun fact, actually. Probes have 20 health and 20 shields, so 40 in total. SCVs have 45 health in total. So technically speaking, in a straight-up battle, an SCV would win, but obviously the probe is going to be able to continuously regenerate its health. And apparently this bad boy is not done just yet. He scouted the timing of the reactor, so he certainly needs to get him out of here in just a moment, but he's just being as obnoxious as possible. I guess this is what happens when you play literally like 10,000 early games of Terran vs Protoss, huh? You just know the exact timings and how much you can get away with. Anyhow, in the meantime, on the other side of the map, we've got a Twilight Council right now coming up for herO. He's going to be going into that Blink upgrade here, I believe, in just a moment. It is, of course, the gold standard in this matchup. We see Stargate openers from time to time, but this is a build that herO is very, very fond of. Just get yourself Blink going pretty early. He could commit with the Adept, but yeah, it's very difficult to keep it alive. That Adept is serving a purpose. It needs to continuously scout what this Terran player is up to. So herO indeed is gonna chrono boost out the Blink upgrade for the Stalkers. Now what exactly is Clem doing? Clem is going for the double Widowmine production, okay? He's got a starport coming up as well. This is something we've seen time and time again as well in this matchup. So both players really going for a very standard start here. If he's gonna queue up 2 more Widowmines on the back of this, which he does, he should be building a medevac out of the starport. He's then gonna load those Widowmines into the medevac, and he should be a-okay to send those units across the map. So if it would be an Oracle opener, if it would be a Stargate opener from herO, the unit would show up right about right now. So yeah, what you can do, exactly, what what Clem is doing right now is he's just once again moving those Widowmines out of the mineral lines, and he's gonna be able to just load them into the medevac and send them across. There is definitely an opportunity to go for an anti-timing with the Oracles, because as you can see right here, Clem was basically assuming, okay, if it doesn't show up between right now and like 10 seconds, I can once again unburrow the Widowmine. So if you purposefully delay your Oracle, it can certainly actually deal more damage sometimes than if you come in with the most optimized timing. Anyways, how much damage can be done right here on the other side of the map? Clem going into the base. Blink, however, is done. Very aggressive Blink forward. He does not quite snipe it. Does he pull a probe sometime? Good targeting right there by Mr. Clem as well. Okay, Clem manually retargeting. Prism also takes a lot of damage, but at the very least it stays alive. Alright, that's all the Widowmines gone. Yeah, 4 Widowmines gone at the exchange of 10 probes. Certainly more damage than Clem could have hoped for, I believe, as far as the worker count that he killed goes, because Well, if herO would have, pulled those units just ever so slightly sooner, he would not have been in this situation. But keep in mind, herO did just now finish up a Blink. Siege Tank, about 90% of the way done, but not available just yet. Obviously, there's no Widow Mines here in the mix either. Okay, Raven decides to drop an auto turret, which is nice and all, but good control here by herO, picking up the weakened units. Stalkers right now, target firing down the bunker. Bunker does take a lot of damage, and it does end up going down. Raven overextending. Yep, Raven a little bit too far forward, and it does get picked off. Clem has got a siege tank right now. This is not something that herO can properly see. Oh, he knows that it's over there, but he decides to take the fight towards the left side of the opponent's natural right now instead. Observer, at this point available as well. That's gonna provide the high ground vision that he needs right now. He decides to aggressively blink forward. Good pickup right there by Clem, keeping that siege tank alive inside of the medevac for just a moment. Tons of SCVs have already gone down. He decides to blink forward once again, snipes down the siege tank. The medevac also goes down. One additional siege tank, though, just popped out of the factory. Even unsieged, it can deal a ton of damage to those stalkers. Tons of SCVs are being sacrificed, but you know what? Despite the amount of workers that herO lost in the earlier stages of the game with some excellent micro, he just now justified that opener. War Prism. Oh my god. Very ambitious. He decides to sacrifice the... Oh my god, really? Was that on purpose? He just now decided to sacrifice the Prism just to be able to drop off a couple of those zealots on top of the siege tank. I think probably in the hopes to, get that Stalker clump back in action. But without the Prism, you can't reinforce this very easily, so not entirely sure if that was the best call right there. But at the very least... Oh, okay, maybe that explains it. Pause, please. Sorry, mouse issue. So maybe he did not mean to send all of those zealots to their deaths right there. Either that or he's trying to justify his actions by saying, no, it was lag, mouse issue, mom was on the phone, so my internet disconnected. You know, there's nobody, the Zoomers that are watching this video have no idea what I'm talking about. Anyways, it's gonna be a Dark Templar follow-up right now from herO. He does not have a third Nexus just yet. There's no detection available here either for Clem, although he does have a third command center done at this point. Okay, Invisible Men, now available. One of them is going to go into the main, the other one is going to go into the natural. How many scans are available? At this point, 0. Dark Templar, deal a ton of damage. Yep. This guy is going to take care of that siege tank. Dark Templar in the main, just slicing and dicing whatever he can. That's another Marine getting picked off. But the problem is, with these Dark Templar split as they are, it's really quite tricky to, well, deal with them, right? Since the Raven got sniped, it makes defending against this sort of shenanigans quite a bit harder. Clem did, however, lift up the supply depots there, which is nice. At the very least, slowing down all of these units, but another one got dropped off inside of the main base, and Clem is just being picked apart right now. Yeah, so every scan that you do is already rather expensive, right? It's not like those scans are free. Could have been a mule. So even if it's just one scan for one Dark Templar, it's not a terrible trade for the Protoss. Anyways, very large Terran army still available though. Marauders in the front as well, but the Zealots are just slicing up whatever they can. Maybe a little bit overly ambitious right there from herO though, yeah. I don't think I like that move all too much. He decides to warp in more units once again. He's probably thinking about getting that Prism out of the sky. That would be amazing, but not going to be able to pull that off for the time being. Hold position micro right there on the SCVs, keeping them alive for a little bit longer as well. Okay, Widow Mines on the ramp. That's exactly what Clem is trying to back off to right now. Finally, at the 6 o'clock position, a third Nexus is acquired. This is normally taken like 5 minutes earlier, but apparently herO only just now feels like it's a good call. One of the problems he's running into, obviously, is that he's running out of minerals. Main base already running low. Same can be said for the Terran, especially when you start mining with mules over there. It runs out very quickly. Third command center is, however, already done here for Clem, and he should be able to get towards the third base low ground here. That being said, he needs to secure the area. Okay, that Prism snipe is good. Or sorry, the Observer snipe is good. More Dark Templar coming up. Shadow Stride even research right now from herO. I love this about herO's playstyle. So before herO came back from his mandatory military service, he... Yeah, we didn't really see Protoss players playing like this. He really popularized this heavy gateway unit-based army. Pretty much everyone was going for like the, well, for example, Phoenix into Colossus builds, and obviously that's still something that herO plays as well, but most everyone was just focusing on the higher tier Protoss units, and herO really has popularized just hitting the opponent in the face over and over and over and over again. It's very cool. So the Dark Templar right now going to town, just as annoying as possible. Try to bully his opponent out of the game. I didn't quite catch the timing of the Dark Shrine. Good blink right there. That's the first time that the Shadows try to research was spotted. But I wouldn't be surprised if herO decided to plant down the Dark Shrine right after he sniped the Raven on the other side of the map. We'd have to go back in the replay to figure that out. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. Because, well, Terrans really rely on that, right? It's not like Clem's build order didn't have any detection. It's not like he didn't plan for Dark Templar. It's just that he, yeah, he was not so safe on the Raven, I suppose. Concussive shells, yeah, they do affect the Dark Templar, but they do get out of the scan range eventually, and they're gonna be able to stay alive for a little while longer. Very even game, though. Supply count dead even at this point. Good set of force fields. herO has stacked up. 1 Archon, 1 Immortal, bunch of sentries as well. That's quite nice. We've got a 1-1 finished as well here for Protoss, which is really quite good. That Archon can tank, well, a couple of Widow Mines at the very least. It's going to be able to regenerate its shields as well in just a moment. Clem going to add on additional production right now. Both players, though, doing an excellent job macroing in this game so far. Very easy to accidentally forget about that. But they're doing a good job. Okay, force fields here. Yeah, slowing down the Zealots more so than anything else. Okay, good Widow Mine detonations right there on the side of Clem. Keeping a lot of those units alive for at least a little bit longer. But honestly, this Protoss army just looks way bigger right now. And yeah, it's indeed another time for Clem to pull the boys. Immortal here does end up going down. Prism is no longer around, so the Zealots are going to have to run in from the other side of the map. But, well, this Protoss army looks way more menacing right now, right? There's only a couple of Terran units here that are dealing damage. And just like that, it's herO who obtains the victory. The second game in this Best-of-3 series will take place on Tropical Sacrifice. And this time around, it's Clem who is sending out a worker pretty early. I believe that this is just going to be a good old Engineering Bay block. Yep. This is one of those builds that really fades in and out of popularity. And honestly, I'm a big fan. I think it's incredibly annoying. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't really bother the top-level players too much, because herO has definitely played against this countless times. But it's still annoying, right? If you're a ladder hero, I think anything that you can do to throw your opponent's early game off, even if it's just a little bit, is very good. And even though it probably won't affect herO all too much, yeah, he now decides to cancel the NG Bay, so it didn't really cost him a whole lot. I mean, obviously, you do lose 31 minerals, apparently, for canceling the NG Bay. It's well worth it, because... So I play mostly Zerg, right? And it happens all the time that the opponent manages to block the natural. As a Zerg, it's very annoying to be disconnected in your bases. And obviously, Zerg units are way faster than Protoss units. So, I can only imagine, as a Protoss, it's just, yeah, much worse to have to deal with this. Anyways, okay. Mr. herO, super annoying in the previous game with his very first probe. Apparently, Clem is taking a page out of his book right now, being super obnoxious with his first SCV. Are we not going to harass that SCV? Are we not even going to try? Interesting. Reaper's coming across. Stalker, already available. Second Stalker is coming up, plus a shield battery. Yep, not going to be able to go into the main base. Now, this was a one-base start here for Clem. So he's got a lot of gas right now. And he's, yeah, pumping out a bunch of Reapers. So this is a build that we see from time to time. Hellion coming up as well. We'll probably see a second Hellion here in just a moment. No command center on the low ground just yet, because once again, we have a probe being obnoxious. Okay. Second Reaper. Now also popped into the bunker. Nice. Ooh, nice. So, damage in StarCraft 2 is detected as soon as the Stalker actually connects with its attack. It's not when the Stalker launches its volley, it's when it impacts a unit. So, usually not very relevant, but when you're talking about top-level players, top level micro, yeah, they can actually squeeze a lot more juice out of these units as well. In the meantime, by the way, okay, there was a Hellion inside of the main base. I was wondering where that one drove off to. Good amount of damage done here by Clem, but yeah, his command center, of course, is very late. And in the end, I don't think it really matters all too much. It was a Stargate this time around from herO. So he's now chrono boosting out an Oracle. That Oracle is going to show up with a bit of an anti-timing on the other side of the map. Cyclone, however, coming up here for Clem, so I believe he should be okay. Clem just YOLOing in as many units right now as possible just to pick off as many workers as he can. So 8 probes in the early game. Honestly, not that great. Second command center at this point is done. Should build a nice little orbital command head on top of that one too. Now it's the Protoss' turn, however, to start being obnoxious on the other side. Should be a Cyclone. Good. Doesn't have a scan available. Shouldn't have a scan available anyways. No. Decides to drop the mules for now. Okay, nicely done. SCVs can, of course, repair Cyclones. Now the Stalker showing up as well. Good micro right there by Clem. Clem also popping out a Viking. Viking is going to be pretty good against Oracles, since they are only air to ground. Yeah, herO is once again just going to get aggressive. I wouldn't be surprised if he's just going to forgo the natural altogether. Even though it seems like the most logical thing to do right now. This is what you get when you're super comfortable playing your third base as your natural. Stalker moving forward, try and negate as much of that damage of the siege tank as possible. Eventually, Cyclone does end up going down. A lot of the Protoss units also are getting picked off, however. But is there not just a little bit too much here for the Protoss? Yeah, I think so. Excellent decision-making here from herO in these games. Ay, ay, ay. Now the Protoss army is just marching straight in. There isn't even a prism or anything like that available. There's not even a robo facility. No, none of that. It's only a single gateway? All of these units have come out of the same gateway? Alright. What came first? The Zealot or the gateway? Probably the Zealot. Yeah, so you could actually warp it in. Yeah, actually, you know what? Not a whole lot of debate there. Twilight Council and Forge coming up right now. So herO is going to transition away from this. But he's already dealing so much damage on the other side. Yeah, picking off whatever he can. There's the siege tank, and that guy is not safe. Nah, he instead decides to go. He probably doesn't have enough firepower in these units to really pick it off. Decides to take the guaranteed damage instead by picking off the Marines, but... yeah. I don't really like this all too much here for Clem. Finally, right now, additional gateways are coming up. 2 more. Just finished as well. herO's just warping in units on the other side of the map, and he's bringing them towards the Terrans. Once again, forcing the SCVs away. This one siege tank has to kill everything. Okay, it's doing a good job with that part so far. Yeah, you can still repair it, even if you lift it off with the Phoenixes. Well, you could negate some of the damage output, which I feel like would not be a bad choice. Anyhow, Phoenixes do have a limited amount of energy. They can't just lift on cooldown. You need 50 energy for one of those graviton lifts. And because of that, well, you should have one available right now, but he's not going to be able to continuously lift up everything. Okay, really? I assumed it was going to be either charge or blink, but herO apparently is looking at this game and he's thinking, you know what? There's no way you're not going to die if I just send a lot of adepts to your base. So, let's see if he's correct. Oracle in the main base being as obnoxious as possible. Now responsible for 8 kills. Okay, Prism should be here. Where is the Prism? Ah, Prism should be here. Adepts are being warped in. So the Glaives upgrade is just a straight up attack speed improvement for Adepts. So I think the plan is to just shade into this army and deal as much damage as possible. Clem has built up a pretty significant force though. Yeah, it's not bad. He is split up. Needs to be very careful about that. Clem, this is not the time to move out. Alright, well, here we go. This is the first time that Clem sniffs out all of those adepts. Is he going to bypass his army? I didn't think so. Siege tanks get lifted off the ground. They are taken out of the battle. herO shows up with a huge army, but the Marines with Stimpack still getting a lot of work done. Yeah, you know what? Problem is, 15 SCVs fell during all of that, yeah. So even though Clem sort of held, he had to sacrifice like half of his economy in order to pull that off. And in the meantime, herO was happily mining 2 fully saturated bases. He still had all the economy he needed, so really not a chance for Clem to come back into the game.